I'm Ariana.
And my name's Ryan.
And this is
I Wear Grippy Socks.
She wears no strings, I wear grippy socks. She's in the psych ward, I'm in the detox.
A mental health podcast by two know-nothing millennials from a seriously non-clinical viewpoint.
This episode may contain graphic content, so please be advised.
And remember, thank you for being here.
Welcome back to another episode of I Wear Grippy Socks. We're definitely glad to have you here like every week. You know, I'm still shocked once again that we get people still listening every week. So.
That's right. There's a few people out there listening, so for whatever reason.
I know.
I don't know what
Kind of
problems they have, but
listening to our problems, hopefully validating some of those emotions for sure.
I would say that's probably a big, it's just a shit show.
Yeah.
And just watch to feel better about themselves, which it probably works. So
it's good to feel like people are going through the same thing. I know for me, for sure, I know my week, I know we've been going probably on a constant sounding like we're more on the downside, but it definitely has been a bumpy ride here in the last, for sure, month or two. Without a doubt.
It has been an absolute roller coaster of emotions this last month or two.
Literally, I'm like, so much has happened that's just been crazy.
I feel like it was such smooth sailing. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden just
we hit that
and we keep
turbulence,
things getting better, and then it gets more chaotic.
Something gets thrown into the wrench of life, it feels like, for sure.
That's right.
But we're here. I know this week was strange for me. Something we kind of wanted to talk about was touch base about friendship as kind of adults and where we're at now. This past weekend, I actually went to, she was my, I guess, ex-best friend. We're friends sort of now, obviously, because I went to the wedding. But it was weird. It was definitely strange. I don't have a lot of, as I've gotten older, friendship, the word friendship has definitely, is weird. It's weird. I don't know. I've been trying to make more friends as a whole in the last couple months. But, when I was in college, obviously, everyone's super friendly, and obviously everyone's kind of there to make the friends. And then I feel like you get out of college or that level, even in high school and stuff, and then it's everyone goes to this awkward, how do you sort of interact with one another? I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it's weird, because I've been going to therapy again, and she has this because the people I considered good friend, pretty good friends, the majority of them have passed away. I mean, legitimately. Mm-hmm. So when I I don't know that I have ex-best friends that are maybe from childhood that are still
here.
But at this point, I don't know that I would consider. I feel like I consider everybody a friend in a sense.
I know,
unless you just actively hate me, right? And then I'll.
I guess it's more who do you spend the most time, obviously we have our people here, even that, but and I love my, everyone has their circle, but then I always feel I've always felt I can't, I always have a bunch of friends, you're saying, but then I always feel this weird notion, when people start getting to the word best friends and
right.
I don't know, it
is weird,
it's strange, and I don't know, even going through something I don't know if that was that, sorry, I don't know if going through something, losing even a bunch of friends, how I would even feel now trying to regain some friendships or even make new friendships. I bet that's a challenge and a half. But even for me, with not really losing, anyone significant, I feel it's just super awkward. I think it's just as adults, we also get our schedules, and this is when lives happening, and you have to take that time to decompress, and if you fill all your schedule with people constantly, I don't know, it's a hard balance.
Right. I feel like it's definitely draining. I mean, now if we're at the age where if you work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, that's what, I mean, people would come over to our house, but it wasn't I feel it's hard to distinguish, I feel for me personally, because a lot of my friends have been involved, it's only, some of them are definitely only because drugs were involved.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the easy way to make friends. Everyone wants to be friends with somebody with drugs. And so now it's I'm trying to get, halfway trying to get clean, and it's
even harder. Well, that's even the notion, everyone still is very popular thing to go to the bar, to go to have a drink at the bar. There's not what older activities that doesn't require going, you're going to go do something, but when you get there, you're going to have a drink.
Right.
And it's Why does also have to be so central focused on like every time you go out, we're going to have some drinks, you know what I mean?
Because everybody's so self-conscious and they're anxious about being judged by everybody. And alcohol,
Loosens it up a bit.
I've 100%, I feel like when I first started like drinking, even when I was younger and stuff, it's just, because you don't like the way you feel, it kind of makes you
Numb.
feel, numb. I mean, it almost like gives you like a way to like justify your behavior, kind of.
The wilding out.
But it's funny. I mean, I'll go like, if I'm sober, I mean, I might go if we go out, I might go an hour or two and not say one word,
Yeah.
I'm just like so self-conscious and
It's it's the anxiety, the social anxiety. You're interacting with other people, and like for me personally, like, and I fall in that category. Like my go-to, like I feel like a lot of people, it's like instantly go have a drink without even like thinking of second guessing it. It's like, oh well, I'll loosen up essentially.
Right.
But it is sad because then I get really into my head at times when I'm not. I'm like, oh my God, did I say the right thing? I even get, even with my boyfriend, I literally was doing this past weekend. So we went also to, I went to work with him essentially, and he was interacting with one of his clients, and I found myself a couple of times like trying to like jab him in the knee, like, don't say that. Like, I'm so concerned, but it's like, it's okay. Like I always have to remind myself, like this is the true authentic self.
Right.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people, I feel like I have really bad, like, social interactions, but everyone says I'm great at it, and I'm like, that's not what I'm feeling inside. I'm like not even close to what I'm feeling inside.
I think that's a big, even like on the podcast, it's been difficult because it's like I'll try to like tiptoe around things, and it's like I'm being semi-authentic. And then even when you're putting, even with TikTok, I got a decent amount of followers or whatever. And it really, I mean, it's not like I've really made any friendships of it. If anything, it's just maybe more self-conscious because it's like, oh, they've, because I know that people have seen and heard the things that I'm saying. And then it's like, well, I don't know. I don't know who has any idea of like the things that I've been saying.
For sure, the context. I know there's been a couple times when we've hung out with our other, like, I guess, mainly introduced through my boyfriend, but now for sure a friend part. This is also my other part is like struggling, like, you can have tiers of friends. You mean like not everyone has to be like your bestie,
right?
But I get the same way, like with, you just don't know where, like, how to be, or like have they listened to your stuff? Do they know, like, because we're so open sometimes about our emotions, I'm like, are they judging me now because of my emotions or what I said last week or whatever?
I mean, I've had full on fucking meltdowns on here before.
Yeah, and so I know, and that's like, did they listen? And obviously, if they didn't, that's okay, and they're still friends if you don't listen to our podcast. But it definitely puts another layer, I think, of like adding to the friends. And I think something that's different for me and you, we're essentially each other's coworkers partly at the moment. And
what do you mean partly?
Well, you're doing your thing too. Like we also have our things,
That's
but like
right.
This is like
we're trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
right?
blend. But they like we don't like I've had a lot of when I've had jobs, obviously not in a smaller like I know though you grew up, you had jobs more one-on-one. I've had a lot of jobs where I've worked a lot of serving industry and things like that, and where I have more interaction with a lot of people, so you get a lot of your friends from like your coworkers or the people that you're around the most. Like currently my other bestie, shout out Vanessa, technically first we became close because essentially we were working together, and so you make those like coworker friends,
right? And
now we both don't have essentially something where we have coworker friends.
Like, yeah, we're just sitting here. It definitely has taken. I don't know. It's weird too because I'm like, I need more friends, and because I do spend a lot of the time of my time at the house here, and it's like, I just don't even know. I mean, but with there's always people coming here. I'm like, do I need more friends? Like, I mean, to me, like, I don't. I feel like friend is just a weird word. Like, I don't know that I would consider you a friend. I mean, like, I guess, in a sense, but it's like, well, to me, your family, I call Teresa my aunt still. I guess technically she's not my aunt. I feel like everyone, I don't know if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, no, I think that, but that's something that I've been trying to figure out too, is like, we have a couple other people that have been trying to, that I know though I would get along well with. I don't know, maybe it's also maybe a male and a female thing too. Like, I feel like females also, maybe we crave more of that, like, affection, not all the time. I don't want to say affection, but more of that like partnership. I think women are generally more attached emotionally like that. And I think we do crave friendships maybe a little bit more. Not saying men don't at
Yeah.
all. I know I'm kind of generalizing a
Right.
bit, but I feel like, we're a bit more, I don't like to have all your girlfriends. And I also think I miss some of that aspect, like
Yeah.
especially when I was in college, and even my best friend that I went and saw this get married, or I guess friend now, because I don't even know, that's also weird, because we were besties. But we were like, I mean, inseparable. This girl was like me and her, we were, I mean, for 7 years we were close. So like that's a long time, and we
Yeah,
went through
yeah.
a lot of milestones in in that time period, just personally us together. But I think it is, I don't know, something, I don't know, maybe it's just me, it could be just me, but
I think one thing for men, I mean, it's like, it's gay, It's gay to have, if, I remember one time I was hanging out with my buddy, and I was like, I think I've talked about this before on here, but I was like, yo, let's stop at El Chapala and get some fucking cheese dip and dip out real quick. And he was like, he wouldn't go eat with me because it was just me and him. He was like, no, people are gonna think we're on a date. And like, to me, that never crossed my mind.
yeah, wasn't it a thing?
I was like, dude, first of all, I'm way out of your league. No one's gonna think that. Like,
You're
but yeah, I
fine.
mean, I've literally had, it's like because it's almost, the
Frowned
macho thing to just fucking barrel through life like
Yeah,
a
and you
fucking piece
can't
of
care
shit.
about your friends. You're
You
not allowed to
know?
care for them. I
It's-
guess, yeah, it's the stigma, I guess, once again, behind that, like in the stupid.
I really feel like that. It's like, yeah, I mean, if you're like, hey, let's go, hey, and it's like, dude, are you hitting on me? Like,
Why do you want to hang out? Why do you want to be alone?
yeah, I mean, I think that's, but I mean,
Part of
it
it.
could
And
be
it makes
me.
sense.
It could be me also.
No,
but-
no. Bringing that point into for sure makes sense, because you don't, and then it's completely role verse when also guys think about girls, having their sleepovers and all this stuff, and they can be super like sexualized. Not in the same, I don't like women see it as much as that, but
Right,
like
right.
there is those, I guess, like ideals of what like friendship in the male and female roles are, and what's not allowed in our, which I think it is really kind of silly.
Right.
No,
I mean,
essentially.
remember like a few years ago when like after everybody, I mean, I was guilty of this too, but after you say anything remotely sus, no homo. It's like, hey, bro, I want you to know I really care about you as a person. No homo.
Like, let me identify this.
Dude, I'm sorry your grandpa passed away. No homo though, man. No homo.
What? Like, I can't. But I do actually recall when that was like a real like
Yeah.
thing that people said after each almost more endeared statement.
Right.
It's like, but I think that came more of a shift that when things became also, at least the U.S. has slightly improved on, being more open with also LGBTQ
For
and
sure.
everything, the whole thing. So I feel like there has been a little more of a shift, but that is still
For
something
sure.
that's a constant, I think,
I mean,
issue.
and for me too, I mean, because I've come on here and it's like I've been open-ish about like my sexuality, and it's like I can't pretend like that it's not, it's always in the back of somebody's head. I mean, for sure. I mean, regardless of what they say, I mean, we're constantly being judged
Without a doubt.
for everything, you
Yeah.
know? And I mean, it's me because I'm just not also comfortable with,
Who you are.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
I understand, and I think that is there's some weird notion to that too. Like it's hard because I also look at my also my boyfriend, who's a bit more he's definitely way more, I want to say progressive, I guess, but we're open about that kind of thing. And at times I have also caught him, you know what I mean? Like he's obviously okay. Like my other bestie who is in my life, Rosby, he has
Shout
been
out Rosby.
he's been open now since we were not in middle of college. And actually, no, technically, I think it was actually much later. But you probably can listen to that on our one episode.
That's right.
But I also felt that change or that shift even, like I always assumed like Christian's okay with it because obviously like my bestie's, been doing his thing, homosexual thing for a hot minute, and he's so comfortable with it. So, but I forget that also there are times when like that's not a thing. Like even the one of our friend groups that we currently hang out with, nicer way to put a bit more country. I don't know if that's rude or not.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, like, it's just weird. I feel like most people are like fine, but it's like when a group of like
People get together.
especially men. I mean, they will fucking
Hype on
clown.
top of each
they
other.
will clown on you. They will throw out all kinds of homo, and it's like, and to them, they're just like, they're like, oh, there's no one like, like all these people seem straight,
Yeah.
so I can like get away
Wait,
with like making these comments. And it's like in the back of my mind, I'm like,
That's rude. That's
yeah, I'm like,
inappropriate.
that's,
Trust me, there's been a lot of times like I won't like I know people say those things like comments like in passing, and even I know not to bring it sort of into it, but a sort of kind of, because I also think about this is a little bit the race comments that sometimes kind of will slip out too. And I've been very like upfront, I bring in my boyfriend into this conversation a lot, but in the last 10 years we've been together, I've straight up told him I will not hang out with some people because I, one, am not good at confrontation, so I'm not going to confront these people
Right.
and being like, okay, you shouldn't say that, but I feel extremely uncomfortable in this scenario, so I will not hang out with them anymore. And so I've challenged that with making friends with my boyfriend's friends in the past, is that I sometimes, even if I know, like, I've had these real good, even deep conversations with them, or like know that they would not do any of that or act on those actions, it's like, but you're still saying it. You're still saying it, and that still hurts, and I still find offense to it.
for sure.
And I'm, once again, not great at the confrontation aspect
No,
of
I
it.
definitely, yeah. I've been trying to do better.
You-
Because I've been, like, personally, I mean, since I've been studying comedy or whatever, I've been trying to learn the rules of comedy. And, like, rule number one is just don't be an asshole, Don't make fun of other people, really. Don't punch down, Don't be a...
There's a tasteful way to do it. Like,
For
I think there's
sure.
a balance. Like, it's super hard because there is, especially, I know you're in comedy, but when, people do make the, like, little haha jokes, and it
Yeah,
can
yeah.
be fun, but it's hard to sometimes,
I mean, yeah,
No.
100%. And because, that's why, for years, we've talked about it before. For years I've been, experimenting, whatever. And I don't really know where I stand right now, but obviously I present straight. That's just naturally, I feel like, well, I don't know what that even means, but I feel like when people look at me, they just assume whatever.
100%.
So, for years, I have heard, comments in passing about,
And that belittles you, probably
this,
feeling comfortable.
and it's like, dude, like, yeah, it's like, it really gets to you. It really does.
I totally see it. I'm telling you, not even being, maybe, I don't know. Obviously, I've been, like we said in the past, and I know we talked about it, but who knows? Maybe I'm just more open to sexuality and also people as in general, even like skin color and all the above. And I've always have had problems when people do jokingly make comments in the passing like that, because it does hurt people that you don't realize that it's hurting. And those sometimes are the comments that stick around the longest, the ones that
sure.
are the subtle and like almost unintentionally but intentionally, because you're like, oh, then they really mean it, then that means they're actually thinking about that all the time, and you just put that upon yourself, and it's just really shitty. But that's why it's hard to make friends, though, because
100%.
is it a joke? Is it a joke? Are they being serious?
Right.
Is this something that they really mean? But they don't really mean that, because my
Right.
boyfriend, I've heard him say something, so I'm like, bro,
I said all kinds
Bro.
of shit too. I don't know why I'm acting like I'm being hypocritical for sure. 100%.
but it's hard. But that's, like, even if, like, because maybe if you had said those comments, I know, like, you're friends now with Rosby as well.
Yeah.
He's a black male. And I know you probably would never now say some of the comments the way you would, back then when you were with all your guy friends. And that, like, it is important, though, to, like, recognize, though, those things aren't nice, and, like, being able to now, like, realizing that they're not. And I'm not, once again, we're not all perfect. I'm not trying to say that I'm this, like, queen of being, like,
Right.
never saying a mean thing. That's absolutely wrong. I'm obviously can be really aggressive. I don't mean to, as we do.
It happens.
But yeah, I think it's for recognizing that's making someone feel uncomfortable, or like, how would you feel if you were in that scenario? Maybe, it's just not sometimes nice.
Right.
And that's why, though, when we start making friends as we get older, I think sometimes it gets a little harder to kind of also figure out. I feel like there's a lot of surface level interactions as I've gotten older when I'm trying to make more
Yeah.
friends, and I'm like, I don't know if I know.
I know. Like we were talking about, I don't know if I can discuss, but I guess, I was going to say, well, your mother or whatever, and dating. And it's like, she's hanging out with this one fella, and it's like, well, I was talking to her and I was like, he seems like a nice fella so far. And I was like, but anybody can seem nice for 3, 4, 5,
Yeah, until
If
you're
you-
in it, and then all of a sudden,
Exactly.
Boom, something.
I can be best friends with anybody. Some people, you can mirror
their actions. You can read
just,
them.
Yeah, you like mold yourself to like.
Be
I
that
I
person.
feel, because actually I was reading the book yesterday, the Atomic Habits thing, and it was talking about how like we will seriously, and I felt like this when I was like growing up and shit. We will the most important thing to us, more important than being smart, than being blah 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 blah, any of this is just fitting in. So it's like we will alter ourselves in any way to just fit in. We'll dumb ourselves down. It was funny because I felt like that in school. I would do bad on purpose sometimes because I was singled out for being smart, which I mean sounds stupid, but I did not want that. I felt
that
like
herd mentality.
yeah, I was like, dude, I would rather be popular than be smart. Like who gives a shit?
Yeah, that's why it's like so hard. I definitely find myself, I think, sometimes doing that too, because it's the wanting to be, for sure, the liked, and like
Right.
sometimes I'm like, I don't know and I think that's also what scares me also though when I start making friendship. It's like, do they know who I am?
Right.
Have I shifted my personality to be not who I normally, you know what I mean? And sometimes I do feel like that because I get super nervous. Like I have another friend that we've hung out, like we've gone on double dates probably 5, 6, 7, I don't know, for sure under 10 times probably, right? And I really like them. I love hanging out with them. They're like, I love them. But I also, sometimes when we do, I get so scared when I first, like right before I go hang out, I'm like, but I've now hung out with them like, this is not the first rodeo
Right.
we've had here, but I'm always like, oh my God, like, am I going to say the thing?
And then
Am I forming to them?
they are thinking the same thing probably.
I know, like, and then so like, do we know them? Do we know these people? Like, do I
Right.
just know I don't know. And I feel like that's definitely just gotten worse as older.
Yeah.
But because though the interactions are super hard, like that couple, like we've been trying to like now set up another double date with them, and it's like pulling teeth to like figure out
Right.
when, my bad. When we actually want to, when one, we're not exhausted from work,
Right.
or two, have the time to fit it in, or if, the schedules matches up. So I think that's another key component though that makes it harder to friendships. One, obviously,
For sure.
trying to fit in and feel
Right.
that like I'm doing what they want to hear.
Right.
I'm doing the things they want me to be doing, and then like just time commitment. Like, do you have the oomph to go do it?
It seems like we're at the age now where it's like, okay, it's like not about your friends. It's like we're at the age now where we should be having children, and our children should be,
Hanging
then
out with
we
them.
will like make.
I think that's
you know?
it too. Yeah, that's another thing. I feel like it's much like my mom had even told me in the past, like, and there's been other scenarios actually now that just came to my head, but when you have obviously the one thing in common, like kids are super easy. Like you start to make more friends, I think, when you have children, because
Right.
we're like, oh, we're all gonna go do the play date
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
play. We're gonna meet
yeah.
up to the playground, and all the kids will hang out.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, you get these like mommy and daddy friends and stuff, and like, but then it's still not really about you guys though. It's all about the kids, and I feel like
Yeah,
there's
I
more
guess that's
judgment on
true.
the
Right,
kids than there
right.
is necessarily even the
Right.
parents.
It's not like that. Yeah, you're kind of like yeah. You're
You
like
know?
yeah.
I
It's
felt-
not like a genuine.
friendship
You
ti-
might not be friends if like you didn't both just like happen to have kids. Or
Yeah, and they're
whatever.
the same age, and they're like in the same sport, or
Right,
they're doing.
right.
And I'm not saying those are not great. They're different there's like the different levels of the friendship.
For sure.
And I think it's just once, like, I know I've probably said it a million times, but I've just been so like mind blown and like weird stage that I feel like we're in one now. When we're like, I am half, I would say maybe a little under half my friends have babies. Almost, I would say like 80% of my friends are in almost like probably engaged at this point. Well, I'm gonna say Facebook friends, because that's also another thing. That's also
crazy.
hard to like,
Erase
differentiate.
Facebook.
I know. I've been. It's so bittersweet because I also have all these like acquaintances. I was in a sorority, so I have like
All the Joneses you're keeping up with.
literally there was over in
Erase
just
that
one year
shit.
like
Oh my
200 girls
God.
in our thing, in our sorority. So there's a lot of girls, and I'm just seeing all these like girls hit these milestones and like posting
Yeah,
these things,
yeah.
and like, and so it's just also such a different.
Yeah.
I'm a different place, and that's okay, and I have to
Right.
tell myself. But it's just friendship is a strange ship.
Yeah, I feel, I don't know. I think one for me, like, because I don't have, I erased my Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't really have an idea what people are up to. And to me, it's nice.
That seems nice.
I don't give a shit.
I see. I know we had talked
No
about
offense.
on the last episode was the one thing, the bittersweetness of like moving away from your hometown or like not being here, and I think that also slightly goes into it. slightly goes
Yeah.
partially into it too. You know, the same thing. Like it's the same. Obviously, Facebook's a little different, but getting away from the same people that you.
In the book I was reading yesterday, I read that whole book. Shout out to Atomic Habits. I read this whole book yesterday. But he's talking. I mean, just talking like how much our environment affects us. You know, I mean, how difficult it is to like start something new in. I mean, and it was funny too because his example, the book was speaking to me on a fucking spiritual level.
Right.
It mentioned the Tao Te Ching, which I made a video I posted about that on TikTok. But they was talking about Chris Rock comedy, Jerry Seinfeld. But then he was talking about in the Vietnam War, like how 90%, no, I can't remember the percentage, but all the people, like 25% of U.S. soldiers were addicted to heroin. Then they came back home, 90% of them stayed clean because there's not fucking, you're not.
The environment.
Yeah. They're like, in NA, they're like, geographic changes won't help. Well, it sure isn't going to hurt, you know?
I think it only helps.
You know?
And it pushes you because you're not also now, because, you know, when we were talking in the beginning, like kind of molding to what the people's expectations were.
Right,
you
right.
get to start with this new clean slate,
Yeah.
essentially. It's like, I'm going to be or attempt to maybe try to be my authentic self at this
Right.
go around. Obviously, you know, it's not the have all be all, but for sure, I trust me, I've been like, oh, I could just pack up and move. I've been feeling that, you know, as we've been saying this last little bit, it's been, you know, literally high, you know, all over the map. And so like it definitely, having a new clean slate, a new place, a new apartment or a new whatever, it's like a new beginning. It's just showing that like it can be something different than what you have. And if you're unhappy at that moment, like that just, like who wouldn't want to take that?
For real. I mean, honestly, I feel so, I mean, you know, for example, myself. I mean, things haven't been so smooth since I've been down here the whole time, but it's sure been a lot better than it was. I mean, they were talking too. I mean, if you get out of rehab and you go to the same place, it's like, why can't this person stay clean? Like, dude, are you stupid?
You put him right back in the same scenario.
Stupid? Like, I mean, Jesus, you know, and then, oh my God, like.
No, I see it. I think it's good for your soul to almost have like a reset, a re-thing, or even like going on long-term, you know, trips or like
100%.
something like that. It's just the mind reset.
Right.
Like,
because people, they just expect certain behavior from you. They expect you to do certain things, act a certain way. And as far, you know, as long as that continues on, I mean, like when I was in Etowah, it's like I'm known for doing drugs. So that's my identity.
MO.
That's literally my, like, people hit me up, you know, can you find this? let's do this. Can I come up? And it's like, that's your whole
expectation of you.
Right.
I see that. And that's why it's like, I think it is important that picking your friend group but you even made the point, it's like hard to even just like pick your friend group or decide, because anyone is also though volatile to anything or a scenario that could occur.
I mean, I genuinely believe it's better to spend time alone than it is to spend time with people who, you know, with friends who might not be your friends. I mean, I
see him. I know, that's why I think that this episode is so like push and pull to me, because I also am very much of a people person, but I'm not. So it's like really hard. Like I've always been more of a person to have like a really close niche group of friends. I've really struggled my whole life to be able to have like multiple acquaintances. I really go like really heavy into like, I have to like put my heart into this friend group or this people. And I've been trying to get better at that, like, and have more smaller acquaintance friends, I guess. I don't know, like
maybe
just
you
to
could
do
text
stuff.
people back would be a good start.
This is that also goes into it, because I hate texting.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
No, but it's true though. Like to start a new friendship, if you don't like texting,
it's over. You're not gonna. What are you gonna do? Start calling people out of the fucking yellow pages or something?
I literally, I don't know how to, because I hate the way people like what comes across in a text message and how it's like said, and I just friendship is so hard. And that's why though I was so also, you know, so kind of bring it back in all the way, you know, with going to this wedding and you know, seeing my ex bestie, but still friend, because we haven't done anything outside of her wedding planning stuff, but you know, still a friend, because those years don't just wash away.
Right.
But just realizing also the the differences and like how life changes. Like her maid of honor, they met the last semester of college, and me and her were best friends. Our friendship fell apart in our last semester of college. And so this is the girl that came in and essentially, took my
Just the
position.
the rebound bestie.
Yeah, and I was like, what the heck? But I definitely I was finding myself a tad bit jealous for sure, especially during her maid of honor speech, because she literally straight up was like, oh, in college we did this and this. I'm like, girl, it was one semester. Do not even like, oh, it made me so mad because I just have so many of these phenomenal memories with her, and it's like, but things fell apart for a reason at that time. It doesn't mean that you can't connect with friends. I think we have to like in that moment, like I was saying before, like things change, like as people, and emotionally our stress levels really change. And so when someone's coming at you or coming with aggression, sometimes it's not, essentially we have to remember, it's not at you, it's at it could be something like like for us, something that really broke the camel's back. We were doing cheer camps across the country, and the whole kind of scenario was very stressful. Like it was just me and her, or you, like essentially the camp, you have you and another camp counselor, and you're driving across state, staying in like Motel 6s, like these very grungy like kind of motels.
Awesome.
And you're going to these camps like in the middle of nowhere, kind of essentially. And it was a lot of fun partially, but for her, she's a very like homebody, very clean, very tidy, very organized. And it wasn't the main thing that ended it, but it was things that was like, okay, she's extremely stressed constantly, and that just put an extra pressure on our friendship. And one, also we were slightly working, and that's also hard sometimes, having as good as having a work bestie, that can also be like tainting, not as great. But it just is like weird that like things had ended, and then like me and her haven't talked for like, so we graduated 2016 in December 2016 from college, and pretty much this wedding was the first time I've really hung out with her ever since, which is mind-blowing. And though like when I was with her, I'm like, nothing, it was like everything's changed, but nothing changed.
Right.
And that what I think is also so bizarre to me. I don't know.
Right.
And I could probably definitely see myself maybe hanging out with her, but like deciding, okay, on that friendship, like that makes me really nervous. Is it worth me getting super anxious and nervous and hanging out with her just so I can maybe have a real, this is the hard part. Like, how over the top do you go to find more? And I'm not gonna lie, I am blessed. Obviously, I love, like I said, shout out to Vanessa, shout out to my Rosby, they're my peeps. But and our other like acquaintance friends that I have, I definitely have other friends, but I don't know, maybe that's my people person in me, or I don't know why I'm like, wanting more friendship or wanting, I really don't know where that stems from, because I don't know.
I don't either, really.
I don't know.
Because I don't.
Friendships
feel
are
like that
hard.
personally.
I know. See, that's why I feel like I should be content. Like I don't mind. Like I obviously I just listed quite a few people friendship level wise, and I'm, like I said, fortunate. But I maybe it's just me right now where I'm at in life, and I'm like maybe searching more for something than what's in front of me. I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to escape.
100%. I mean, it seems that way most definitely. But aren't we all?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I'm ready. Maybe that's what I think it could be. Like I'm trying to like revert back to my like college days when things were a lot more simplistic. Things were super hectic, but it was simple.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I live in like 10 years in the past. That's what we've been trying to work on, like
not being
at
stuck
therapy.
there.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard because it's like I definitely, those were some of my, as you would want to say, like glory days, I guess.
Yeah.
And I like look now and I feel a lot. I look into like the future, and I'm very terrified, to be honest, of what the future is. And so I think I've been wanting to fill the void of friendships, maybe just because I want something that I used to have, or
like security, or someone to, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. And I'm it's definitely, it's been more prevalent in this past year. I've noticed it the most this past year.
Yeah.
And maybe it's also COVID.
For sure, yeah.
I guess
would say that plays a big...
Not going out as much as you normally would have. And I lost some more friendships than, you got more distance over the past of COVID just because of
Right. And it's
COVID.
like, and I mean, depending on your like ideas, whether you,
Oh,
whatever.
they really divided
it's
that.
like, I mean... it's just you can't even go to an event without it turning into like some kind of
war.
yeah.
And that's I guess also the other thing. I got really intimidated this past year because person I grew up with, my second mom, her daughter, like we were besties for this whole thing for a long. I mean, our moms were besties. Our moms had a whole thing, and we had a whole thing because our political views were split down the middle. And we've been friends since she came into my life when I was five, and I'm 27 now. And COVID hit, and that 25 years, no, not 25 years, 20 years of friendship or whatever. So 22 years of friendship almost felt like it went out the door at parts because the divide between our political stances was really it just, so it really, I think maybe also, I guess maybe that's also the core that has shook me, because even like I was saying in the beginning, before even the political standpoints, I was telling Christian, my boyfriend, these things like, I don't want to hang out with your friends because of these like racial slurs or like joking racial slurs or like the homophobic comments, even before all the politics even sparked out. So this is something that I've truly also have felt uncomfortable like beforehand, and I know just a lot more people's true colors came out, and whether that's good or bad, I'm not judging you, but at 22 years of friendship being there, realizing what you don't know someone fully. You think you know them, you think you know them, and that once again really kind of comes full circle in our conversation, is that we do mold or try to conform to our friends that we're with or at that moment. And I'm not saying everyone has to be on the same political platform or whatever to get along. It's not obviously 22 years proof of not having conflicts over these kind of topics, but it's I think maybe I've just been now scared. I think maybe that's just really just shaken me as well. I tend to overlove is also one of my not as it's a great I know I've brought it up so many times, but over caring is something that is not also great. Like it's my I don't, and so I feel more butthurt, and I shouldn't. Like, there's a lot of scenarios I'm very obviously and aware that I was like, okay, I cared. You know what I mean? It was just my emotions cared too much when it's not essentially what I needed to have. So I think I'm scared of that. I'm scared of that part of friendship. I'm scared of, what will it end? It's like essentially a breakup. Literally, I broke up. We had a breakup. Me and my ex bestie it was a breakup.
Right. Yeah, she got a rebound and everything.
I know. But, as long as, I just got to remember, as long as they're happy. And I, once again, have gotten a lot of amazing friends since I also lost her as a best friend. She's still a friend, and I will, for sure, hopefully we'll get together soon on another, soon, maybe. I don't know. Life will take us there. But I'm definitely still warming up to what friendship is and how to handle friends, I guess, in the grand scheme of life.
I'm in the similar, I don't know. My therapist says I think everyone's just going to die, so I don't try to form relationships. And I was like, well, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
See you in a month.
Probably back.
Maybe.
Seems like she's been helpful. That makes sense. That does. I like I said at the beginning too, I couldn't imagine, it's one thing having a breakup, and it's another thing literally losing someone,
Right.
And that's tough. That's tough.
I don't know. I consider everyone my friend. Unless you are mean to me, then I fucking hate you. But besides that,
all gravy.
That's why I like to wave to people when I'm walking, in the car. Just try to be a friendly fucking person. I mean, Jesus Christ.
I know it doesn't take that much. Kill them with kindness. That's my motto, right?
If that doesn't work, then use
other force, maybe.
Else. Yeah, slingshot.
But we're first going to start with killing with kindness. So I guess that will also bring us, to wrap it up, because my motto, like you said, kill them with kindness. At first, always try first, kill them with kindness. And I think that's what, the goal is in life. If I come off sweet at the beginning, at least, at least I was sweet at the beginning,
For
maybe.
sure. I've definitely caught myself popping off at times. So anyone, if I ever popped off on you at any point in time, I apologize. But you were also in the wrong. So.
I can't.
But
But I hope you guys are having good luck with some friendships. Tell your friends you love them. I think that's another thing I wanted to add in there. I've been this more recently. I've been like really trying to say I love you, I love you, I love you, because it is important.
for sure.
You know, and I feel like that's sort of, you know, even going into, you just don't know when that person's last
never
day
know.
will be here.
You
So
never know. You don't want to. For sure. Guys, check out the, we got the new shirts. You know, Ariana made these designs. We got the new hats. Keep your eyes peeled. Get the grippy socks. Look.
check them out.
We got the
Stunning.
new red, white, and blue ones
Coming out.
coming in soon in honor of our grandfather. Things have been hectic. We're getting our shit together, though. 1% better every day.
Fuck yeah.
It's not about how fast you go. You just got to keep moving forward.
Hell yeah. Amen. Amen. You guys have a wonderful day, and thank you for being here.
Hey. Peace.